I'm Simon Lamone. I'm a legal practitioner.
I'm Engineer Lemi Yakubu Ogie Aitsaboka, a retired chief lecturer at the Auchi Polytechnic Auchi.
Yes, Justice Idiar is my name. I'm a chief lecturer in Auchi Polytechnic Auchi.
I am Dr. Paul Akalume, a lecturer at Auchi Polytechnic Auchi.
Yes, with me today as the anchor man. Now, the world over, every season we have different things the world celebrates. On a Sunday, we celebrate it as the Sabbath day. Then we have the World Population Day, we have the Women's Day, we have so many days, we have the Environmental Day. We also have the Mother's Day. But the focal point of today's discussion is the Father's Day, which in essence we are going to be looking at fatherhood, the role of a father in the modern day parenting. That is what we shall be looking at today. And we have seasoned discussants with me that shall roll and set the ball rolling and continuously rolling. But it is important we know the meaning, the evolutionary trend of how the word Father's Day come about. I will do just that little introduction before the floor will now be open so that our various discussants will look at various aspects arising from who is a father, the concept of fatherhood, the meaning of fatherhood, the role of fatherhood, the types of the various fathers will have. And again, what are the moral restraints, the legal restraints, the biblical conceptual meaning of a father? Now, when you look at that word, Father's Day celebration, now it dates back to about the year 1908, where in Virginia, a state in the United States of America, you have some miners in a company who are actually workers in that company. Now there was an explosion and about 365 men lost their lives. When they died, about 350 something of them are breadwinners in their respective families. Then the local church at that time thought to themselves that they are going to hold a service in remembrance, in commemoration of the day these people died and how they died. That was the first thing that happened in Virginia in 1908. Then shortly after that, the pendulum shifted to 1910, when in Washington, D.C., that was the first time in the history of humanity that the Father's Day will be given the toga of official recognition by way of celebration. The first time it was now officially celebrated was in 1910 in Washington, D.C. So many states in the United States of America today observe that day as a public holiday. So this is the genesis of Father's Day. So we want to bring it to bear, world all over, even in the Nigerian soil. How do we celebrate Father's Day? Because I observe that most people do not even know the meaning of Father's Day, the genesis, and how we come to be celebrating Father's Day. So having known the genesis, we are going to start with Engineer Lemi. Engineer Lemi, who is a father?
It's a good question. I see a father, it's an office really. The office of a father is the office of responsibility.
Wow.
Coming down home, you find that the father is the head of the family. The father is a role model for the family. The father is that provides food on the table. And if a man can conveniently go through what I've just listed, you'll have all hearts hot for me.
Oh, that is beautiful. To my far right, please, I'm sure you have one or two things to say more in addition to what Engineer Lemi has said. Who is a father?
Well, a father is the leader of a family and is the primary head of the family and is saddled with a lot of responsibilities. He's one that is supposed to protect the family, provide for the family, then plan for the future of the family. While knowing that a time will come when he can no longer perform these responsibilities, and children will grow up to become adults themselves. So we should be able to see ahead and prepare for continuity.
Oh, that is a good one. Then I want the doctor in the house. You know, they say doctors always philosophize. Yes, so I want you to throw more philosophy on the concept of fatherhood. Who is a father?
In simple words, a father is the male parent. But beyond male parenting, he is the head of the family. And being a head means responsibility, means provision of direction, means a total focus on who leads and directs the family.
Well, these are beautiful conceptual definition of the term father. Now, a brief, laconic summary of what the various speakers have said. To simply put, a father is, before you are a father, you must be a male. Now, having settled that, a father is somebody who provides for the family. A father is a man that has the gene of the offspring flowing from the vein of his DNA, meaning that a father giving birth to an offspring. And what makes you a father is not just because you are a man. Again, if you listen carefully to what the various speakers have deposited, having something in between your two legs is not just enough to make you a father. That a father is an ordained position from God. A father is somebody that has been able to give birth to an offspring. Or in the case of an adoption, you adopt somebody and you have a responsibility. You have a role to play. Maybe when we go into the major role of a father, more light will be thrown by the various discussants on the issue. I think that takes us to the role of fatherhood. Now, most people just think these days that when you walk along the street and you see a girl, you just do one or two things, and as a result of that accidental union, something comes out and you just abandon that person. And for the next 20, 30 years, they don't see you in the scene. Is that a father? Then, what are the roles of a father? I will start from the doctor in the house.
A father should, as a matter of responsibility, provide leadership, concerted leadership for the family, because a family is a unit. It is the father that should ensure that the family is closely fitted together into one, driving one purpose, moving in one direction with clear mission and vision.
Okay.
So then, a father provides a vision for the household.
So a father is a source of provision.
Yeah.
Meaning that what qualifies you to be a father, you must be a provider for your family.
As a father, you should be able to, in fact, you should be well spoken of.
Oh, that's beautiful. So to my immediate right,
My co-discussant,
The
they have
role
said
of a
most
father.
about the role of a father. I think, in a nutshell, the responsibility of a father is multidimensional. But basically, a father should provide a home, a shelter, where the family members can feel safe, primarily. A father should be able to see the future, plan towards it, and direct the family to achieve that purpose.
oh,
So a father should be a man of vision.
well, that is a beautiful one there. Now, viewers, watch. We are saying in different words, but they all jar in the same direction. We are moving into the same goal. A father is like a prophet that prophesies, that sees the future, that sees the pitfalls where you have, trod as a man, you wouldn't want your children to continue if you know that they are going to fall. A father is a defender. A father defends the territorial integrity of his immediate family. A father puts food on the table. When your children come from school, they need anything, and they come to you as a father. They say, we need this, we need this, we need this. You should be able. In fact, jokingly, a friend told me recently that when he was small, let's listen to this, that usually, those who belong to our generation, there's what they call handwork. That handwork those days, you pay 1 kobo or 2 kobo. He said when he comes from school and meets his dad and said, Daddy, they say we should come and pay so and so kobo as handwork in school. The father will say he doesn't have. But he said, but Daddy, I saw some money with you. And the father will say, I don't have. Any money that is not in government pocket, you cannot use force to pick it. He was not living by example. Such a father has the money, but is leaving the well-being, the educational training of the children to chance. Such a person is not a father. So that is, in essence, the role of a father. Then again, now, what are the different types of fathers we'll have? It is good we know this. Because why I'm saying this is, we have different faces. We have different values. We have different idiocracy. Your kind of a mien, your kind of composition, the component that you are made of is different from what I'm made of. Some people it's as a result of the environmental factor. Some it's as a result of the training they have. Some it's as a result of the genetic composition in them. Some it's as a result of the peer group as they were growing up. So the totality of this form an embodiment of an idea that flows in your mind, that consequently modify you to the kind of a man you are in future. Now, as a man, what are the different fathers we have? Most people out there just think that what qualifies you as a father is you are giving birth to somebody that you call your child. Now, is that necessarily the concept of fatherhood? That it must be your biological children?
No, it goes beyond that. Like I told you, remember I gave an example earlier on that I was raised by a maternal uncle. He was indeed a father to me. In fact,
it was not your biological father.
No, it was my maternal uncle. I lost my father at the age of 5. And I came to see this man just got married, he had no children. So when he was having children, they came to know me as their elder brother. It was later they knew that the father was my uncle. But that's not the issue. What happened was that this man brought me up. He gave me the best education I can tell you. Well, that's could not afford. He paid this for me because one, he had no children. So then later, I learned certain things from him.
So what you are saying in essence is that to be a father, what qualifies you to be a father, you must not necessarily have given birth to your own children by blood.
You should be able to raise
by relationship, you can foster a child.
Yes, I'm totally in agreement with Engineer Lem, because incidentally, we are all lecturers, even though he's retired now.
Okay.
I feel that
a lecturer is always a lecturer.
Yes. So what is that?
They are the fountains of knowledge. We still run to them. I'm with you.
As a lecturer, as a teacher, anybody that is your pupil should also be your child.
Be your child.
Yes, I remember that's what my rector would tell you. As far as they are within our jurisdiction in Auchi Polytechnic, we are their fathers, we are their mothers.
So, doctor, so what he said in essence, if you understood him, is that anybody that is directly under your care, anybody that is in your custody, anybody that you have given back to, either by reason of the fact that your DNA flows in his vein, anybody that is related to you by blood or not by blood, either through by adoption, but that you have a responsibility to cater for somebody, that shows you are playing the role of a father. Do you agree to that extent?
Yes, it is the role you play in that person's life.
Oh, that qualifies you.
That makes you a father figure.
Okay.
For that person.
Now, we all know that this present jet age, is laden with so much vices. This digital world. I tell you, what my son of 4 years can manipulate with a handset, I don't know how to do it.
It's true, you're right.
The various games they change and they interswitch, I begin to imagine which age did I belong. And also, they are also learning so much evil from this internet age, this digital world. Please, how can a father ensure that in the bringing up of his children, they are not corrupted by the vices they are exposed to in this digital world?
Yes, let me come in quickly. It's true. During our time, there were no this laptop or phone. There was no internet. Honestly, when I did my school sat, I didn't see a calculator or a slide rule. I used the 4-figure table. So that's completely analog. But today they play with everything. They play with everything. In fact, while bringing up my children, what I did was when they get to GSS 3, I enrolled them for the computer course. I bought gaming machines for them at home. I remember by the time they are doing SS1, SS2, they are good. So honestly, but what they need is some gadget that can guide them in learning. Not the handset. A gadget that can guide you in learning. That was why I bought most of the machines I bought at home. And it really helped them.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, doctor, you have a contribution to make?
The father should be keenly involved in the digital development of the child. Know which sites on the net the child visits, how he uses, how much time he gives to digital technology and digital gadgets.
So a man should guide his children. A man should be conscious at all material time to know what the children do at home. So, Mr. Justice.
Well, I think I have a different. You see, it will be difficult to really monitor your children all the time. What I mean is this: when a child leaves home and goes to school, you are still in your office by the time it closes. You are in your room in his room. I think the best way is you let them know the consequences of any wrong action, any wrong step they take. What I mean is this: like how you see children tell that Jesus said we should not tell lies. If you tell lies, Jesus will punish you. You know, at that early age, they already know that there are some things Jesus will not like.
There are some values.
If I use myself as an example, Mama, don't smoke. My son, what will I tell you? I will tell you, do not smoke. I know you will not smoke, but I'm just telling you as a mother, don't smoke, because if you do it, they will catch me and they will be beating me. So what I'm saying is that when you are really close to your child, and the behavior of the child is changing, if you are close, you should be able to notice it at that.
A father yes. should be a friend to his children.
So if you are close to your child, and the child is going off, you should be able to at that point notice it. And I think it's just like preaching Christ to somebody. You can't force somebody to accept Christ, but you can preach to somebody. You convince somebody. Just like a man cannot force a woman to marry. You must let that woman know why she should consider you as a potential husband. You convince the person. So I think just like what we are discussing, you also let your child know that if you do certain things, there are consequences.
By way of summary, if I understand the various contributions, is that if you remember, if you listen to what Engineer Lemmy said, he said there are some parents that are illiterate. There are some parents that are not lettered. You are a doctor. You have read to the apogee, to the point of a PhD in your children's profession. I think what parents should do, particularly a father, because a father is like a pathfinder. A father is the last authority in the house. And on the strength of that submission, I think whether you are lettered or otherwise, you should have some guidelines, that you put, like the 10 commandments in your house. You would say for example, like in my own house, every Saturday in the morning till 12 o'clock, nobody put on the television in my house. It's a standing order, whether I'm in with my family or I am not there. So it doesn't take literacy or otherwise
So
to do this.
Yeah.
That is one. And secondly, from 12 till 4, you can put on the television and watch whatever you want to watch. From 4 p.m., my television goes off, irrespective of your desire. If you don't on television from 4 to 7 in my house, it's after you eat in the night at about 7:30, my wife will put on the television for the children to listen to news. By this time, they would have done their homework. So you don't require education to do any of this. That is one. And again, as a father, don't just say, oh, go and meet your mother. Anytime your children run to you, you pursue them. No, go and meet your father, go and meet your mother. No, as a father, when they run, in fact, you don't even need to wait until you call them. Come and let me see what you are doing today. You preach to them. And again, when you have a computer system at home for them to learn, make sure you monitor the applications and the software that they put on all these devices. Doctor, some people will say that the future is great. I don't believe in it, because I believe it. What you put into the future, that the future gives back to you. So how do you ensure you give great future preparation for your children to have a great future in life in this modern world?
Now, the future actually is great, but at the same time, the future could be as small as anything. Yes. Depending on
the future is only great to those who prepare
for
to
it.
enter it with an expectation to achieve greatness.
But
But somebody who forces himself at Kimbo, can you say the future is great?
Meet a doomed future.
Yes.
Okay.
So the parents, the father in this instance, must adopt an approach which prepares the children.
Now, what are those proactive approach that a father should adopt?
That's what I'm saying. You see, as a father, you must have some values. One of my greatest values, which I learned from this, my father, my biological uncle, is having a good education. That is the basis of everything.
How do you teleguide a child so that it can fit in squarely into the challenges of the future, Mr. Justice?
Well, I think in our modern world, whether you like it or not, education is a primary requirement for a good outcome, for a good future.
Yes. How do you now teleguide a child
with a good start? When you put them in school, monitor the academics.
Yes.
When they come back from school, check what they do, check their progress. Once in a while, visit their schools, find out how they are faring.
So what the various speakers are saying is that a man who is the case setter, who is like a father figure, should already know the weakness of a child, pay more attention to that child.
Yes.
Yes.
Then again, from discussion, you should know the strong point, the strength of that child. Mr. John, what would you like to become when you grow up?
Yes.
You interact with it because a father is like a friend, isn't it?
Yes.
And when you interact with your child, you say, oh, I want to be a pilot. I want to be a lawyer. I want to be a doctor. When they say this, I think that when you see that the child possesses such strength in that area, gradually you begin to buy books in that line. You begin to teleguide him in that line. And again, when the lawyer is speaking on the screen, even if he's in the toilet, Junior, please come and see your senior brother. He will think you are referring to John. He comes and he sees a lawyer speaking on the screen. You say that's what you want to become.
Yes.
These are enough inspiration for children.
Yes.
Are we on the same page?
Yes,
yeah.
certainly.
Total agreement. Yes.
Now, with the social inequalities in this world, how do you groom your child so that he believes in an egalitarian society? He believes that, oh, you don't need to cheat this to bless this, because the world is full of so much inequalities. How do you do all of this as a father?
That's why I'm saying the values. You learn values from home before you learn any other thing from the school. I remember I had this problem with my daughter. Auntie said, she said, no, it's not true. In fact, I followed her to the school. So when they knew I was a Polytechnic lecturer, they were a bit aghast. But what I'm saying is this: you must have values right from home. Let me tell you, you raised the point just now. there are certain things, we call it absolute, about you. There are things that cannot be spoken about you.
Yeah.
My gate is locked 7 o'clock in the evening. No one goes there, no one comes in.
So what I'm saying is that as a father, you are the first role model that your children see.
I am
That is
insisting
all,
on
You are
that.
the first
Oh, yeah.
television that they see.
I am insisting on that.
Then you have anything to have, Mr. Justice.
Yes, I think we are all saying the same thing. You know, when we started from the beginning, we said a father should be a visionary. A father should be able to foresee the future, and he should be able to guide the child towards that expected future. So, but we know that whether we like it or not, everything is not equal in life. But to guide your child through the future you desire for that child, let the child know that you are ready to offer the best that is available to you. What that means that in choice of school, like this, we have private school, have public schools. Even if your child is in a public school, let the child know that at that particular point in time, that is what you can offer, and that is the best you can offer to that child. And I'm sure your child will value you, that this is the best my father can give at this point in time.
All of us, whether the children of the rich, the children of the poor, first and foremost, we're all human beings. That is the concept of social justice. We're all equal before God and among ourselves. That is social justice. And again, we should have the same access to the same thing that is at our disposal. I remember a little boy was saying one day, and he said, Daddy, you are too harsh. Daddy, you are too harsh. And the father said, am I harsh? He said, the way you shout at your driver, I don't like it. That driver, your driver, is also the father of somebody like me. He said, how will you feel? If I am somewhere and somebody is shouting at you like this, and the man told me that he was cold to his feet. That is social justice.
You know what I do? All the years I worked, my payslip was on the table. My payslip was on the table. So everyone would know how much I'm earning. There are some other things that comes from outside, but at least where I work primarily, the payslip was on the table. So that you don't ask me anything beyond this. So when they come, I tell the ones who went to secondary school, they make big friends. There's some deputy governor brought their school to the deputy. Big governor people. You don't bring that into the house. You know what we are capable of doing. And God has been with us.
That is a good one. Give and take, everything that has a beginning, they say has an end. Now, when I was growing up, what inspired me to be whatever I am today, with the zest to always conquer greater territories, is the fact that as a child, my parents would call me and say, Samuel, that governor there is the child of somebody like me. That millionaire there is the son of somebody like me. These great people you see in the society, they were all giving birth to, just like as I gave birth to you. I see you going places. Be serious in life and you'll be greater than them. And this was the inspiration I ran with. And today I'm grateful. And these are the same thing I'm inculcating into the lives of my children and every other person that is under my custody. Thank you.
Yeah. Similarly, there's something I also want to do, and it's some experience I'm sharing. God, I think my children, they are beyond 27, all of them. So there's something I'm sharing in them, in that there are times someone wants to become a doctor, and he or she becomes that doctor. One wants to be an accountant, he becomes an accountant. Do you know what's happening now? There are times youth persons shall have gotten the certificate, the required certificate and professional inclination, and will drop the certificate and go and do a different thing. I had such a story. What am I saying? You don't push a child to do a course. Maybe you are interested or she's interested.
Okay, that's why I was talking about the weakness and the strength of a child. That when you see where the polarity lies, you encourage such a child in that direction.
Let me tell you something about education. What the first degree or whatever education you have, it gives you a foundation which you can build on.
You are very correct.
I'm telling you of my own daughter with a master's degree in accounting. Today she's doing event planning and she's making it.
And following what he just said, I just remember one evening, we came from farm, and my father called all of us. He said, in this life, there are doctors, there are lawyers, there are engineers, there are this, there are that. There are also tips. Is today you will choose which of them
choose one. Yes.
you will choose which one you will be.
Okay.
I have never forgotten that thing. That you can become what you want to become.
Well,
So, Mr. Justice.
personally, when I was growing up, I was made to realize that we all have purpose in life. And that purpose is deposited within us. And whatever you think is right, as far as it is not against the will of God, pursue it with all the vigor that you possess. And you end up. I remember one quotation, so said, be careful about what you pretend to be. Otherwise, very soon you will be what you pretend to be. So there's this, you look around, there are things you like. There are things you like about people. You just pursue it. Just pursue those things. You have role models, those things you see, you like and you admire about people. And I remember when I was in university, a professor said, see, very soon you will graduate. I want to believe now that you have more opportunity to interact with me now. See what I want to tell you, look at my life. Those things you admire about me, please build on them. I'm not perfect. Those things you don't like about me, I'm not even asking you to tell me, please avoid them. And you know what will be the outcome? You'll be a better version of myself.
Now, the essence of all we have been saying is the concept of fatherhood, the role of a father, the duties of a father. How do we ensure that our children are not corrupted in this digital world? And again, we also look at the strengths and the weaknesses of our children. How do you ensure that you focus on the strength of your child? And above all, is preparing them for the future. And as we bring the discussion to a close, yes, at this point, to everyone who has been with me in this voyage of discussion, Engineer Lemmy, Mr. Justice, Dr. Akalume, I want to welcome you once more. And on behalf of every father in the house and in the world, we jointly say Happy Father's Day.
Thank you so much.